What's going on? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, good people, viewers, and members of the True Heel Heat Nation. This is your good brother J News with another rendition of J News Japan, talking about the G1 Climax 30 Tournament Night 15 Block A action live from the Hamamatsu Arena in Shizuoka. Attendance 1,372. Folks, I'm human, and I make mistakes, and things happen when things happen. The main event of this night 15. I couldn't stay awake for all the way through. And not because it's late. It's not late. I'm a bit tired, but I feel like the main event let me down a whole lot, because I've never necessarily had that happen to me before, where I was in and out of sleep during a match, and it was that match specifically. So that says a lot. Folks out there might have watched that match between Tomohiro Ishii and Kazuchika Okada and enjoyed it. I felt the reason as to why I was in and out of sleep was because there were too many rest holds, and not enough action. The match did go 26 minutes and 13 seconds. Why am I starting with the main event first? Because it sticks out, guys. This is the first time this has ever happened to me specifically. The match went on for too long. It didn't interest me at all whatsoever. And that sucks. Not because the wrestling was bad, not because the show was bad, but because the outcome was inevitable. You watch the rest of the show, which I'll go through, and you say to yourself, oh, okay, I see what they're doing now. And different viewers, people who comment in the comments section, our own members here at True Heel Heat, we've all kind of sat on the side of not wanting to see Okada be in the spotlight right now. And the understandable side of the booking, or the not even understandable, the logical side of the booking is going to tell you Okada's got to be on top, because New Japan fans are used to seeing Okada on top, and that's what draws for them. But I guess we're so wired and so programmed to seeing so much immediate change here in the West when it comes to our professional wrestling. It gets a bit tiring after a while when you see the same guys on top always. To use a word that Stephen A. Smith uses, excuse my soliloquy here about Kazuchika Okada, the man is a great wrestler and performer. I do not take anything away from him. But golly, at some point, from a standpoint of, give me something new, give me something fresh. And this was supposed to be one of those matches that had me emotionally tucked in from bell to bell, because it's one Chaos member against another. They couldn't even do that for me. And folks, I'm speaking for myself. And that's a shitty feeling. You know? That's a shitty feeling. I'm going to go do my due diligence and watch this match back again. And hope that the same thing doesn't happen. But I feel because this is kind of sitting with me the way that it is that my opinion's not really going to change here. Okada won this match after 26 minutes and 13 seconds due to referee stoppage because he had the money clip on for a long period of time on Tomohiro Ishii. I used the New Japan website to look at certain photos and stuff like that to see as to what happened. Like the majority of Ishii's offense that I'm looking at here with the photos, folks, him going off the second rope, driving it into Okada, him using a double wrist lock on Okada, him having some sort of an armbar submission on Okada at one point. Folks, I missed all of this. The sliding lariat, I missed all of that. Not because I wanted to, but because there wasn't any level of interest for me in this match because no matter how long it went, Okada was going to get the win. Tomohiro Ishii was not getting the win here. And that's the most disappointing part about all of this for me. And yeah, I'm running out on my hill and I'm going to die on my hill with this right here. Because for Okada to have to defeat Tomohiro Ishii on a referee stoppage off of the money clip, to me, as a finish, right, is complete and utter bullshit. It's bullshit. The tough man of your faction is going to tap out or get knocked out due to your modified Cobra clutch? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. And I'll sit there and I will die on my hill with my opinion when it comes to that match. To the beginning of the show. A match I actually liked. 8 minutes, 37 seconds. Gabriel Kidd versus Yuya Uemura. These two young lions just went at it. Tit for tat, back and forth. More of the British style of professional wrestling with a lot of submission maneuvers and reversals out of certain holds and things of that nature. There was one point in the match that was poignant to me that Gabriel Kidd was standing above Yuya Uemura when Uemura had him in some sort of a submission maneuver. Gabe stood up, literally hovered over Yuya's face and open hand smacked him so he can let him go. And I was like, sweet mother, what are we watching right now? And that's when the match got even more fiery. They started throwing harder blows against each other. And it was your basic New Japan strong style match, but with fervor and deep context, right? Because these guys are having a best of 9 series throughout this G1 Climax and stuff. Yuya Uemura wins this match with a double overhook suplex into the bridge on Gabriel Kidd. And that was that match. A-block action. A match that I didn't see the result coming. I didn't expect this at all. But good for him, though, because now it seems like, for whatever reason, it seems like the Booker man and the agents in New Japan are starting to understand Jeff Cobb a little more and what it is that he can do and what it is that he brings to the roster. spoiler alert, the company that Jeff Cobb has signed with and who signed him is New Japan. The reason as to why it hasn't been announced is beyond me. I don't know why it hasn't been made an official announcement or whatever the case is. But New Japan signed Jeff Cobb for New Japan proper and New Japan in the USA. They're going to use Jeff Cobb to try to move the needle, and try to get some eyes on the product for the USA stuff, and also use him on their regular Japan tours. So that's that piece of news. The match was good. Good offense from both Will-Ospreay and Jeff Cobb. Just things that you expect for them to do, but still are so dope when they still are so cool and so dope when they happen. It still makes you pop. Jeff Cobb's power, blessed be that power game, is something else, y'all. Something else. And something new that I saw. Usually Will-Ospreay, as part of his regular routine roundabout way, does a handspring into a back somersault, landing on one knee and his fist in the middle of the ring. We've seen that plenty of times. Jeff Cobb stopped him mid handspring on the rope, waist locked him, took him out of the freaking ring onto the apron, gut wrenched him, try to get him over. Will-Ospreay finally gets over, flips off of Jeff Cobb's shoulders back into the ring. That was a cool piece of athleticism and acrobatics there, and a true show of Jeff Cobb's power, because he had Will-Ospreay in that gut wrench the whole entire time, until Ospreay was able to flip off of his shoulders. There's nothing more, no more acclaim I can get to either of these two gentlemen. They're just great to watch when given the opportunity to do things in the vein where the story becomes who comes out the winner in this match. You couldn't really tell, and like I said, I didn't expect the finish. Jeff Cobb won the match, hitting a tour of the islands on Will-Ospreay. So this means Jeff Cobb 4 wins, 4 losses, 8 points. Will-Ospreay 5 wins, 3 losses, 10 points on the loss. 12 minutes and 21 seconds was the time. Third match, A block action. So I guess I can say I chose the wrong match to go to sleep on, right? Because I went to sleep on the main event. But folks, after watching the Will-Ospreay versus Jeff Cobb match, the Yujiro Takahashi versus Kota Ibushi match completely sucked the life out of my mood. Not because of Kota Ibushi, but because Yujiro Takahashi does it to me every single time. That real slow, lack of energy, lack of tenacity style that he has. And we knew Kota was winning this match. There's just no way he was gonna lose. There was one point where Yujiro Takahashi actually got a bit of good offense out of it, where I thought, wow, Yujiro Takahashi's about to win this match. He fisherman busted him off of the second rope, then picked Ibushi back up and fisherman busted him again on the into the mat, and he only got a 2 count out of that with an emphatic 2 count kick out from Kota Ibushi, who then turned around a couple of minutes later and was able to hit him with the jumping knee, and then grab the wrist control and go to town on Kamigoye to get the win. Kota Ibushi, 6 wins, 2 losses, 12 points. Yujiro Takahashi, 0 wins, 8 losses, 0 points. Match time, 12 minutes and 28 seconds for this one. what can I say? My favorite match of the night is here. The fourth match and the fifth match of the night were the two best matches of the night for me. But match number 4 is my favorite. Shingo Takagi versus Tai Chi. Takagi, yet again, showing as to why there are fans out there who consider him the MVP of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I made it a point to keep this in the back of my head when I was doing the recording for this particular episode for night 15. Shingo Takagi is in the same vein as certain professional wrestlers in the business. The reason as to why I say that is that when you step in the ring with certain professional wrestlers, you have to step your game up. Shingo Takagi is in that category. He's in that column of professional wrestlers where if you see him standing across from you in the ring, you know you got to bring your A game every single freaking time. If I were to name a couple of other professional wrestlers like that, I would say it would be Daniel Bryan, current or old school Daniel Bryan, whichever one you prefer. I would have to say you got to bring your A game every time you're in the ring versus the likes of Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is one of those guys too, where we gotta bring it every freaking time, or else that match isn't gonna feel right, you know. I feel like Walter from NXT UK is another one of those guys where if you don't bring it, that match is gonna be a freaking snore fest. So dudes got to bring their A game to make sure that match goes off correctly. So I just wanted to make that point. Tai Chi, yet again, I am sold at this point. Last year I said Tai Chi was a sleeper pick to climb up the ranks and make a name for himself in the G1 29. And this year, Tai Chi's just keeping on pace as to his ability to show how good he is, and his ability to step up to the plate when it comes to the guys who can, quote unquote, really go when it comes to their in-ring abilities and their abilities to tell that story in the ring of exhaustion and hard-hitting, high-impact maneuverability, just being able to interweave how good both competitors are in this match. 16 minutes, 21 seconds worth of thrills and blows and moves, and each one of them mocking one another and doing each other's moves. There was one point where Takagi did the Tai Chi ski, which is that roll, that pseudo Superman roll up that he uses to get cheap wins, and as well Tai Chi used the pumping bomber one time. He also used Fall of the Dragon. I'm sorry, not Fall, Last of the Dragon on Takagi, and that was ridiculous. I was like, OMG, how are we getting this kind of match out of these two guys? But I shouldn't be asking that question, because these guys are professionals and they are excellent at what it is that they do and the characters that they portray, and they're very highly skilled. I did not expect the finish here. Tai Chi gets the win with Black Mephisto. 4 wins, 4 losses, 8 points for Tai Chi. 3 wins, 5 losses, 6 points for Shingo Takagi. 5th match of the night, another one of those bangers to come across here. Minoru Suzuki and Jay White. 20 minutes, 30 seconds of just, not the entire time. Jay White got some offense in, a little bit of offense in. Minoru Suzuki basically beat the piss out of Jay White and almost took his arm off of his freaking body. Is really what happened in this match. Jay White got away with a sliver and was able to get the win off a... He was able to get the win off of the overbooking and Goto's interference at the end of the day. Goto interfered towards the at different points in the match, but the last time that he interfered, he came to the apron. Minoru Suzuki struck him down off the apron, and Goto went down to the floor. And after that, Red Shoes went to go see about Goto, and Jay White hit Minoru Suzuki with a low blow and then was able to capitalize and hit the Blade Runner on Minoru Suzuki to get the win. Like I was stating before, Suzuki beat the piss out of Jay White in this match. Jay White had no business winning this match, but the overbooking and the usual Bullet Club tactics nets Jay White the victory. 6 wins, 2 losses, 12 points for Jay White, and 3 wins, 5 losses, 6 points for Minoru Suzuki. So that was night 15, guys. The leaderboard reads as follows. Going into the final night, Okada, Ibushi, and Jay White all have 12 points. Will-Ospreay has 10. Jeff Cobb has 8. Tai Chi has 8. Tomohiro Ishii, Shingo Takagi, and Minoru Suzuki have 6 points. And obviously, Yujiro Takahashi has 0 points. Going into the final night of A block action. Do I know, or do I have any presumptions as to what is going to happen in the finals? Not necessarily, but as I started off with this particular review, I just have a feeling that Okada's going to win out. Ibushi, depending on whatever his match is, will end up Ibushi will probably end up winning as well his match, because Okada has Will-Ospreay on that night on October 16th. So I'm figuring Okada to get the win. I'm figuring Ibushi to get his win. They'll both have 14 points. Ospreay will stay with his 10. It'll probably be Okada and Ibushi in the A block finals. Yet again, not to say that that's a bad match, but it's like, give me something new, right? Unless they pull the okie doke and they book this into a way where Ospreay gets the win over Okada, and Okada finally gives Ospreay the rub, and they're tied at 12 points apiece. Kota Ibushi then gets his win, and he's at 14 points. And these two guys have to have a sudden death match on the finals night, and then the winner of that match faces Kota Ibushi. I can see that happening per se, maybe. The other variable here is that Okada loses to Ospreay and Ibushi loses his match, which then means all of those guys end up with 12 points, which then means that the A block final, for the first time ever, can be a triple threat match between Will-Ospreay, Kazuchika Okada, and Kota Ibushi. That would be super dope, but I don't know if New Japan is ready to do something of that caliber to wrap up the A block final at all. So I figure it that it's just going to be Okada versus Ibushi in the A block final, and that'll be what it'll be. Let's hit it to give you the preview again for night 16 B block action. We have the matches here: Yoshihashi versus Kenta, Juice Robinson versus Zack Saber Jr., Toru Yano versus Tetsuya Naito, Hiroki Goto versus Evil, and Sanada versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. That'll be B block action in Yokohama Budokan, which will be tomorrow, October 14th, 2020. Then the schedule then jumps from the 14th to the 16th, folks. The 16th will be the A block final. The 17th will be the B block final. And then the 18th will be the overall G1 Climax 30 final, where the winner of the A block versus will face off versus the winner of the B block. And then after that, we go on to the road to Power Struggle for the rest of the month of October until we start the Tag League and Best of Super Juniors Tandem Tournament. I don't know how any of you guys are going to feel about this, but I'm always transparent and honest with you guys about stuff. So I'm not going to start lying here. And I know I should have done my due diligence and watched the match back between Okada and Ishii, and it might have given me a different feel. But I'm up, right? I'm not sleepy. My eyes aren't droopy. I'm not speaking in any sort of a slurred way. The match just didn't interest me, y'all. And for me to say that I didn't watch large chunks of that match because it did not excite me disappoints me. And I just wanted to get that particular message across. So tomorrow's show from the Yokohama Budokan in Kanagawa, October 14th, night 16. Be prepared for that. This has been your good brother Jay News. I'll catch y'all on the flip. We're going to transition into night 16 in a bit.
The next day.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Night 16 Action Block B. Live. First time. Yokohama Budokan. 1,498 people in attendance. Sellout crowd for our times right now in Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling live in Kanagawa, Japan. First match of the night. Let's get to it. Young Lions, Yota Tsuji, and Yuya Uemura went on a one-on-one match for 7 minutes and 56 seconds. Not going to misquote stuff here. Yeah, I would say this is your pretty basic Young Lion match here. Good fire, good energy, good tenacity from both guys. I saw some new things from Yuya Uemura. I saw some new things from Yota Tsuji. Subtleties there within specific movements. I would say facial expressions and how long drawn out some of their holds were. I would say between the two of them, right? Them facing each other. Relatively throughout the entire tournament, I would say that they go the lightest on one another when it comes to throwing blows, elbow smacks, and things of that nature. They don't go heavy. Unlike when each one of them, Yota Tsuji and Yuya Uemura both go up against Gabriel Kidd. They strike and go heavy with Gabriel, but they don't strike and go heavy with each other. So I've noticed that, and I kept an eye on that. But they do try new things with one another, which I think is cool. Yota Tsuji did have a good offensive spot here when he hit the big swing on Yuya Uemura, and then he transitioned quickly into I would say a rabid Boston Crab to get the win here. Yota Tsuji looms large as he seems to be the top dog of all the young lions in New Japan Pro Wrestling currently, as he wins this match. First match of the B block action. I'm gonna come out and say this, bar none. I never expect to say the words I'm about to say in a few seconds. This match here, Yoshihashi versus Kenta. I'm going to run down the list here. Looking at the matches, right? I was entertained and I liked all the matches. The main event was by far the best match of the night. But this match between Yoshihashi and Kenta, outside of the main event, was my favorite match of the night. My favorite match of the night. Why? Last time Yoshihashi was in a match in night 14, I said that was Yoshihashi's best showing in the G1 Climax 30 tournament and the best match I had ever seen him participate in. One B block match later, and this is now the best match I've ever seen Yoshihashi have and competed versus Kenta. 17 minutes, 39 seconds of a grueling battle, back and forth. This kind of match is the reason as to why Kenta got a deal with the WWE. This is why he was so revered in Japan when he was signed to Pro Wrestling Noah in the early 2010s, let's say, and stuff like that. This is the Kenta that people love to watch. And I know I was just talking about Yoshihashi, but it takes two to tango, folks. Yoshihashi brung it with the fire, the intensity, the submission maneuvers, the hard hitting, strong style, as per what it's supposed to be for New Japan. But the emotion and just the level of exhaustion that these two men brought out of each other, and that energy was put on towards the fans in that arena in the Yokohama Budokan. Yo, as they say in PFL matches, this match right here, top class. Just top class, guys. Kenta versus Yoshihashi. Match of the night outside of the main event for me. Just a terrific match in my estimation. It had a little bit of everything in it. The match began before the bell even rung. I'll sit here and honestly just say I'm not sure if there's any personal and or wrestling history between Kenta and Yoshihashi, but with the way that Yoshihashi, by the way, Yoshihashi has one of the best entrances in New Japan that doesn't get a lot of burn or doesn't get a lot of time. When he gets the time for his entrance is pretty dope. I think him as a singles competitor and being able to come out to that entrance would do him some good from an overall aesthetic standpoint. So that's a plus there. I'm speaking about the entrance because when Yoshihashi comes to the ring, he usually comes with his long pole and like I like to say, his Naruto jacket. And Kenta then came down to the ring during his entrance and stuff like that. And Yoshihashi, after doing his little corner, corner call and response to the fans, he stands in the middle of the ring with his long pole or his walking stick, whatever you want to call it. And when Kenta comes into the ring during his entrance, Kenta directly spots and eyes that pole, and he's just staring a hole into that pole, that walking stick, and then he's staring a hole into Yoshihashi. Obviously, we understand Kenta's the bad guy. He's part of the Bullet Club. He's a heel, right? But from the visceral effect of seeing that body language and seeing that eye contact between the two of them, I felt like there was way more than just that G1 Climax 30 match there. And that was the overall feel I got during the match. Like this was years. This was history between these two, and I have no idea if there is history between these two. You guys can comment down below if you want to let me know, inform me, because this felt like this was an age-old battle that had started decades ago, and it could be, but I'm not sure. But it just definitely felt that way, and it just it led to their individually as individual wrestlers and together as their best match during this G1 Climax 30 tournament and overall for 2020 so far for both of them. So this was a strong showing. Kenta wins this match with what they called, I'm going to the last photo here, because I remember what happened, and it wasn't necessarily the double stomp or the GCS. They call it game over, when before it was just, a LaBelle lock or a yes lock, or whatever the case is. Kenta wins, 4 wins, 4 losses, 8 points for Kenta. Yoshihashi, 1 win, 7 losses, 2 points on the loss. Dope match, good match. All praise due to these guys. I like it a lot. Match number 3, Juice Robinson versus Zack Saber Jr. What can I say? Well, there's not much more I can say about the level of just charisma Juice has. There's not much else I can say about how good he's been in this tournament. Same thing for Zack Saber Jr. Excellent match between these two guys here. Not taking anything away from them, but the emotional toll the previous match took on me kind of took me out of this match emotionally. And I knew it was a good match because of the way that it flowed, and because of what was going on in the ring and Juice's abilities to reverse and counter out of Zack Saber Jr.'s submission attempts and things of that nature. Juice still being able to have that connection with the fans and get them behind him, and get him to rally into different sets and sequences of offense and stuff like that. So I would say that this was definitely a worthwhile match to watch as well. 14 minutes, 30 seconds worth of good wrestling action. Zack Saber Jr. wins here with the European clutch at the end of this match. 5 wins, 3 losses, 10 points for Zack Saber. 3 wins, 5 losses, 6 points for Juice Robinson in another strong showing. Juice Robinson, hold your head up high, brother. You've done an awesome job during this G1 Climax 30 tournament. I hope it brings you, mid card to main event level status. You competing for some of the for that gold, and you being another foremost spotlighted gaijin over there in Japan. Match number 4, one of the most entertaining matches I've seen, literally from beginning to end. Tetsuya Naito, the double champ, versus Toru Yano. So the comedy didn't start with Toru Yano in this match. It started with Tetsuya Naito and his entrance. Naito took forever to come down to the ring. At one point, he was just really slowly, creepily walking down to the ring, and then he turns around. He was only like, I don't know, a fourth of the way down to down the rampway. And he turns around and he's about to go back through the freaking curtain, and he stops, and then he still turns around and takes his time strolling down to the ring, and Tetsuya Naito just milking the hell out of that entrance, and Toru Yano getting upset, getting frustrated. Tetsuya Naito basically playing mind games and getting into Toru Yano's head before the bell even rung, which is Tetsuya Naito's style, as he does with other wrestlers, being so calm, being so tranquilo when he's in the ring. He did the same thing, but from the out before the bell even rung, just to get in the mind of Toru Yano here. That's excellent storytelling on behalf of Tetsuya Naito, and the bookers at New Japan Pro Wrestling. Finally, when the bell did ring, they basically didn't even touch for like about the first minute and a half, because they kept on dodging each other's collar and elbow tie-ups, and then essentially the match started. The funniest bits of the match, I would have to say, were when Toru Yano had his one and only, no, not one and only, one of his bits of offense. Toru Yano and Tetsuya Naito both took the turnbuckle pads off of opposite corner posts, but only Toru Yano was able to use the turnbuckle pad. He hit Toru Yano with his turnbuckle pad. Toru Yano dropped the one he had in his hand, and then Toru Yano throws away his turnbuckle pad, picks up the turnbuckle pad that Naito undid, and then he picks that up, sends Naito to the ropes, and whacks Naito right in the chest, and Naito goes down and rolls out of the ring. At this point, after he rolls out of the ring, Toru Yano then takes a roll of tape, the infamous tape that is now tied to Toru Yano in every match. He took that tape out of his pants. He knocks down Young Lion Yota Tsuji, who is always outside of the ring after the matches. All the Young Lions are to help the injured and embattled wrestlers back to the ring and give them ice packs. He knocks down Yota Tsuji on one side of the railing. Naito's on the other side of the railing, already down on the ground due to this hit in the chest from the turnbuckle pad. Yano had the tape and he tied their hands together. So I thought that was going to be Toru Yano stealing another one. I kid you not, the gap between two of the metal railings in the barricade was wide enough for Yota Tsuji to eventually slip through that gap and help himself up along with Naito. Him and Naito had to do like a 3 count, 1, 2, 3, and then jump into the ring before the freaking 20 count expired. And that was one of the best bits of comedy I've seen in a long time. After they both get in the ring, Yota Tsuji basically is attempting to take the tape off of him and Naito. He slips out of the tape. The crowd goes wild as they clap it up or whatever the case is. Tetsuya Naito puts up the LIJ fist in accordance and towards Yota Tsuji. Yota Tsuji's getting all hyped and antsy, and Yota Tsuji's about to throw up the fist. But of course, Naito kicks him in the gut and takes him out of the ring because he ain't no damn member of Los Ingobernables de Japón. And he's just a young lion currently. So out of all that, the match continues to go on between Toru Yano and Tetsuya Naito. They both give each other low blows. But at the end of it all, Toru Yano gives the low blow first to Naito, and then Naito finds himself willing enough and strong enough to give Toru Yano the low blow, and then he's able to go into a jackknife roll-up pin and get the win over Toru Yano after 8 minutes and 4 seconds. So Tetsuya Naito here, 6 wins, 2 losses, 12 points. Toru Yano, 3 wins, 5 losses, 6 points. As that goes on. 5th match of the night. I had my reservations about this match. I didn't know how it would go per se. Not saying that I didn't necessarily predict the outcome because I figured that Evil would win. I just didn't know how it would go, and it went better than not expected. It just went better than what I would figured it would. What I thought it could have been, right? Because the majority of Hiroki Goto's matches in the G1, and what Evil's been doing, being that he's been flanked by Dick Togo the whole time. But it was a really, really good and solid match. We saw offense out of Goto that we don't usually see. Off the top rope, elbows, and other running bulldog I saw him do, which I hadn't seen him do in a long time, and things of that nature. But ultimately, Hiroki Goto was not able to overcome Evil Dick. And Evil was able to hit Everything is Evil on Hiroki Goto after 15 minutes and 33 seconds and get the win. So 6 wins, 2 losses, 12 points for Evil, 4 wins, 4 losses, and 8 points for Hiroki Goto going in to the finals night. And the main event, I won't go into a long drag out explanation about all this because this match was a slow burn and a slow build to what it was. But beyond the shadow of a doubt, Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling, showed everybody why he's still the ace and why wins against Hiroshi Tanahashi still mean a lot to the guys who get the rub from Tanahashi and, to people who watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. Because not only did SANADA beat Tetsuya Naito in a match in the G1 Climax 30 tournament, he also beat Hiroshi Tanahashi. If I'm not mistaken, Tanahashi has won the G1 tournament 3 times or twice, at least 2 times. He's won it 2 or 3 times. So SANADA was able to beat him after 28 minutes and 25 seconds worth of a long, exhausting match. Certain highlights in the match, or should I say the story in the match, I would say Hiroshi Tanahashi was working over SANADA's right knee a lot of the time. He started with a basement dropkick attack on that right knee, and then he went to town with several different variations of dragon screw, leg whips in the ring, outside of the ring, within the ropes, and things of that nature. SANADA doing typical SANADA stuff during the match. Very smooth, very elegant in the ring. Locked up Hiroshi Tanahashi in the Paradise Lock twice inside the ring and then within the ropes as well, which were highlights there. And as well, he was able to apply the skull end on Tanahashi, but Tanahashi did not tap. He was able to get out of these variations of the skull end both times they were applied. Same thing with SANADA. SANADA did not tap out to the Texas Cloverleaf when it was applied to him. I believe Tanahashi applied it on to SANADA 2 or 3 times during the match as well. SANADA never tapped. SANADA never gave up. He always got to the bottom rope or was able to get out of the ring. And then when it was all said and done, SANADA was able to have the upper hand in the last offensive sequence where he was able to hit, or should I say hold on to the skull end for long enough to get Tanahashi worn out to him be able to go to the corner and do the rounding body press, aka the low angle moonsault, which he hit twice in order to win the match over Tanahashi. So SANADA wins this match over Tanahashi. 5 wins, 3 losses, 10 points for SANADA. 3 wins, 5 losses, 6 points for Tanahashi. After the match was over, SANADA cut a promo basically thanking everyone in at the Yokohama Budokan for coming out and watching the live show. He said, and I quote, "Of course, he will have a good showing at the B Block Finals and win over Evil." He's guaranteeing this win over Evil, folks. Hopefully he does win. And he said that he also told the people in the Yokohama Budokan that he will see them next time. And it was a cool promo because SANADA, who has a connection with the Japanese fans, with the Japanese crowd, was able to get the majority of the fans in the crowd to turn their flashlights on their phones, basically like the fire, like Bray Wyatt's Fireflies, and he got the service guys in the building to turn the lights off, and he basically had like a chill talk while he was sitting in the ring with everybody in the building as he cut that promo. So that was pretty dope to see. Let's talk about the leaderboard. So this is what we're looking at going into the finals, right? So we have Tetsuya Naito and Evil, both at 12 points apiece, right? Then we have SANADA and Zack Saber Jr., both at 10 points apiece. We have Hiroki Goto and Kenta at 8 points apiece. And then Hiroshi Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, Toru Yano. Toru Yano, Juice Robinson, and Hiroshi Tanahashi with 6 points apiece, right? Because it's Goto, and Kenta with 8 points apiece. So, and then Yoshihashi rounds it out with the 2 points at the end of it all. So to go into the A block segment, to go into the B block segment for a minute, finals night looks like this, live from Ryogoku. It's going to be Tana versus Zack Saber. It's going to be Juice versus Goto. It's going to be Toriano versus Yoshihashi. Chaos versus Chaos. Tetsuya Naito versus Kenta. And then Evil versus Sanada. Right? So in this case, due to the proceedings that happened today, right? If everything boils down to it, right? If everything boils down, if Sanada wins his match, that means he'll have 12 points, and Evil will have 12 points, right? If Sanada beats Evil, right? If Naito loses to Kenta, that means Naito ends up at 12 points as well, and Kenta ends up with 10 points. So that automatically delivers Naito at 12 points, Evil at 12 points, and Sanada at 12 points. Right? That's a tie. There's no tiebreaker there because unless, well, in this case, Evil was the one who handed Tetsuya Naito one of his losses, and Sanada also landed Tetsuya Naito one of his losses. So I guess you can say it automatically disqualifies Naito, and the winner of the match between Sanada and Evil is the B Block champion, right? I guess you can say that. Or unless they just want to do the point system where all three of them have 12 points and they have a three-way match, then that goes the way it goes. Because if Naito loses to Kenta, it only gives Kenta 10 points, or whatever the case is. So that doesn't cause an extra person to have an extra set of 10 points. So it could be the case where if they want to go by the point system, it'll be Naito at 12, Evil at 12, and Sanada at 12, and they go in a three-way battle, or whatever the case is, a triple threat match there. That's a possibility. Obviously, the other possibility is Evil winning his match, getting his 14 points, defeating Sanada, Tetsuya Naito defeating Kenta, getting his 14 points, or whatever the case is. And then, obviously, you would get whatever you would get from there. But I feel that if Sanada wins here, he defeats Evil. That's 12 points for Sanada. Sanada Evil then stays at 12 points. Tetsuya Naito, let's say, wins his match against Kenta. That gets him 14 points. So Naito automatically wins the tournament, which I think would be, not the tournament, but the B blocks, which I think will be the outcome. I think Naito will win his match. And unfortunately, I feel like Sanada's going to lose because New Japan doesn't book triple threat matches like that. But if they do, hey, cool. Because I was talking about that last on the night 15 review, which I'm going to touch on now. I left something out of the night 15 review, and I want to go over it with you guys outside of my mistake of going to sleep in the Okada versus Ishii match. So Block A final action in Ryogoku is as follows. We have Kota Ibushi versus Taichi. We have Jeff Cobb versus Yujiro Takahashi. We have Okada versus Ospreay. We have Ishii versus Jay White and Minoru Suzuki versus Shingo Takagi in the main event, right? So I want to pull up the A block. In this case, yesterday I mentioned that it could be a three-way dance between Ibushi, Ospreay, and Okada, right? And I completely forgot about Jay White. My mistake. Jay, you don't deserve that sort of disrespect. You're too good, brother. You're too good, right? But if we're going by these matches, right? If we're going by these matches, the leaderboard for the A block is as follows. Kota Ibushi has 12 points, Okada has 12 points. Jay White has 12 points. Will Ospreay has 10. Right? If we're going by what's going on currently, if Jay White beats Ishii, which is likely, he'll have 14 points. Right? Kota Ibushi's match is against Tai Chi. Tai Chi's been bringing the fire, and he's currently even at 4-4. It's not guaranteed that Kota Ibushi's going to win this match versus Tai Chi. So, in the case that Tai Chi does beat Kota Ibushi, that means Ibushi stays at 12 points, right? And Jay White gets to 14. Now, the fact of the matter is this. If Jay White beats Ishii and Ibushi loses his match against Tai Chi, it doesn't even matter if Okada wins the match against Ospreay. Because I feel the tiebreaker goes to, and I forget if Jay White beat Okada. I think Jay White beat Okada in one of the matches, because if Jay White did beat Okada, that means he ends up being the A block winner in this case. So nothing really happens. But what's to say in this case that Ibushi loses his match, Jay White loses his match, Okada loses his match? That means there's 4 guys who end up at 12 points if all 3 of those gentlemen lose their matches. So there's a possibility, a wild possibility, that if Ibushi, Okada, and Jay White all lose their matches, there's going to be a multi-man sudden death match that will happen before the finals, to make it more before the finals happen, to make it more emotionally compelling to the folks watching at home. But who knows? Like I said, New Japan's not prone to doing such things. Currently, right now, Ishii's record is 3-5, right? And Jay White's 6-2. And Ishii always beats the crap out of people like Jay White. So, it's a little tough. I don't think Ishii will win this match, and if he does, it creates quite the clusterfuck for New Japan Pro Wrestling if the other 2 gentlemen lose their matches as well. So keep an eye out for that, folks. And thank you for watching, as per the usual. Make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe here to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. I'll be back with A Block Finals action and B Block Finals action, and then we're going to have a roundtable discussion with other members of the True Heel Heat channel come Sunday, so stay tuned for that next week. This has been your good brother Jay News. As always, be good to one another, take care of yourselves, and stay safe out there. Stay wrestling fans, folks. I'm about this. Peace.